Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, November 17th, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new to this podcast, welcome. I hope that what you hear today you will connect with and that you will continue to listen. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to it on other platforms, thank you. Please follow. I'm just grateful that you're all here, to new listeners and those who come back and listen every week. I'm also, by the way, on Instagram, though I don't really post much more than inspirational messages Monday through Friday, but I hope to expand it in the future. So please find me there under Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp, and I'm also on Facebook under my business page, Lisa M. Hopp, Spiritual Coach and Medium. Thank you. I'm going to begin. And this is kind of a part 2 off of the podcast I had last week. A listener asked if I could elaborate about timelines. And of course, it's almost be careful what you wish for a bit. I don't mind at all elaborating and explaining them. And like last week for the first time, though I didn't follow my notes completely. I did kind of get off here and there. I, for the first time last week, began going off of notes rather than just letting the info flow out of me. This week, I also have some notes. And I'm not going to be probably as eloquent as others in speaking about this topic, but it is my intention to be clear. So after this podcast today, if you do have additional questions, please feel free to email me at serendityharbor@verizon.net. So let's dive right in. Since the beginning of creation, all of us have had parallel lives. And these parallel lives are there as well as our current life path. The one that you're focused on right now as you're listening to me. These parallel lives can be on this earth or in other dimensions. When you come to me as a client, and for those of you, by the way, who don't know about me, please go to my website at lisahopp.com, and it explains about my work as an energy reader and a healer in a variety of ways. But as an intuitive life coach, I will usually tell you that there are multiple paths, and that the energy I'm reading is the one that is the most prominent or likely to occur during the time we are talking, meaning it's the one that's the strongest at that very moment. And that is why there's no such thing as fortune tellers. They would give you one destiny, yes or no, will you be with them or not, will you be rich or not. They give you a path that is more set in stone. And then, when it happens, you go, oh, they must have been real. They must have been really psychic. And that's not the case. It changes because of free will. It changes because you are the creator of your life. And sometimes they'll even go as far, these fortune tellers, to tell you that you are cursed and they can change it for you. And that is never the case. That is always a scam. So please, if you with your free will want to go to someone who would be more like a fortune teller, if they ever offer to lift a curse or tell you if you give them more money or goods, they can help you more, they're a scam artist. Please run. Please get up and go at that moment. And unfortunately, that's often how psychics are perceived. And real readers read energy. It doesn't matter if they read cards. It doesn't matter if they have tools. Real ones read energy. And so a lot of us in the field of energy have to deal often with the preconceived notions that are given to us by the fortune tellers or given to humans. So know that energy readers good always go to an energy reader. And I call myself an intuitive life coach because I give you the coaching along with the energy read to help you to navigate your path. And I will always tell you it's a current energy path on this particular date and even the time sometimes. Sometimes it's so strong because of your will, beliefs, or habits. I know you'll probably stick with it, and I'll tell you that. But sometimes there are things that are not yet set up. There are twists and turns. There, with your free will, can be things that come in and opt out. And that's just the way it is. Either way, it's good to know because you are the creator. You are not powerless. Though we can give our power away, it keeps you more at the steering wheel of your creative life. So why do we have so many lives? Because it's just all about creation. That's what it's all about. It's the whole purpose since the dawn of time. About growing, expanding, forming lives, forming galaxies, forming cures. Whatever the imagination can imagine, we are forming. And that's simply what it's all about. Everything from thought, imagination, feelings, intentions. It's all created. It's all matter. It's the game of life. Regarding parallel lives and your individual paths, everything you think, feel, imagine, say, either impacts this current focused life of yours or is created in a parallel, alternate life. So let's say a part of you has dreamt of being a millionaire. You have a life path where you are one. If you have dreamt of being a famous actress or actor, probably have a life where you are. There are lives where you are royalty and pauper. There are paths where you are struggling more than you are now, and ones where you aren't. And I'm talking about the paths running congruently with your current life right now. And with a meditation practice, because these are the times we're in, you can actually jump to another one of them for information for healing, or even to obtain an increase in gift. A great teacher who's now passed, Burt Goldman, who actually is one of the great teachers of quantum jumping. He wanted to know how to sing better, so he went to an alternate part of himself where he was a singer. Then he came back and he was a better singer because he got advice. That takes practice. And so that is important to know it's possible, but you can access these other lives. There are timeline paths where you said no to dating your spouse, and a whole another life opens up for you. And that can affect this one or another one. Whenever you said no or yes to something or someone, even in the smallest degree, there's another path. You chose a different fork in the road, and it happens sometimes so subtly that you would never even get a knowing of it. There's a particular movie, I think it's Men in Black 3. There's a wonderful character named Griffin, and in this movie just really gives this wonderful story of a scenario of how the New York Mets won the 1969 World Series. How the impossible happened. And it was all about everything lining up through this minimal little millisecond choice. That is reality for all of us. In a millisecond, you can choose a diversion. You can choose something that misaligns you or aligns you. So that's why it's so important, as much as you possibly can, to be deliberate with what you are thinking, what you are feeling, and what you are saying, because it's not for nothing. It actually has more power than you realize, the most power. Our lives are active. We are not just living them like puppets. They're ever moving, and there are always unlimited possibilities and probabilities happening all the time. This means that there are ever-changing shifts and opportunities in this present life of yours that you are focusing on. And this is good. You add and subtract all the time. New changes, opportunities, new beginnings are always possible. Probabilities can happen, and they do a lot. But probabilities are usually for those who stay within their comfort level more. It's playing it safe. But there are always infinite possibilities at your disposal. And I teach this actually. It's actually called Infinite Possibilities. And how to stretch yourself. How to stretch yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit more to give yourself what you truly would ask for in spite of fear. Because we tend to stay in our comfort zone, which brings about what we would expect, which are the probabilities. Now, traditional religion would teach you that you have one life, and then you will pass, as it is called. I don't like to use the word die, because only the physical body does. And then hopefully you go to heaven, and then sometimes they teach you that you rise again. And I always knew as a young child that I had other lives. I didn't know if they were, what would be considered at the same time kind of lives, or they past lives. And I knew very young, even as early as 6 years old, whether they were past, that I had multiple lives. I just knew there were. Just a knowing. Parallel lives include, are you, your what is often called doppelganger, or as I prefer to call it, your cosmic double, your counterpart, your twin. This is the aspect of you living those other lives. And again, in these other lives, you can be wealthier, healthier. You can possibly be more of ill health, in love, no love. Some are better, some are not better. It depends on what thought form, what feelings you have experienced. If you're going through a diagnosis, there's most likely another life with that cure. It's all about creation. And as I said before, meditation, called quantum jumping, in many cases can allow you to jump to those other timelines and receive answers from that other aspect of yourself. And I have done it recently, actually, and it's pretty amazing. But it does take practice. You can connect to these other paths and find out information about what helps you, answers questions, or even just blend in to a part of you that is already healed in order to bring that aspect to you here. But that is, again, a more spiritual practice and takes practice and work. And because you are engaged in more than one path, you may get deja vu. And we always assume that deja vu is just about past lives. And it may be actually a deja vu of a life that you're experiencing as your twin right now. It makes life seem so random, but it's not. You are in control and a creator every moment of every day. So again, the why is because that's why we're here, what it's all about. from thought form, from source, we decided to be active in the art of expansion and creation. And we are doing a massive, amazing job at it, no matter what. Now on to the group consciousness. Last week, I shared a bit of an angelic message about November 5th. The angels explained that a new life path was chosen for the country. For those of you listening outside the States, it was the States. And it impacts the world. So it was chosen for the world as well. It was a shift. So while there is more than one current individual path, there's also always more than one group consciousness path. The whole. And like we don't have enough going on, right? The angels explained that there was a path towards democracy and freedom. That is what we asked for. The path looked at, before the shift happened, it looked like the election would go another way. And it was a shift that happened quite quickly and suddenly. Almost like 11th hour kind of shift, which boggled the mind of those who were on the other path and saw it. So really impacted. But we as a country quantum jumped to the other path. And Source, being God, angels, said yes, approved it, allowed it. There is individual free will, there's group will, there's overall will. It all aligned and chose this path. It does not mean, again, that we weren't involved. It didn't happen to us. We asked for democracy and freedom. And this is the best possible path towards it currently. But I can tell you, I know it's ever shifting. So it still is the darker, harder path, but it's not set in stone. We are ever still choosing and creating about this path. A lot of us have not awakened to it yet, but others have. And so little shifting, tiny shifting has already occurred. So this was the best path. And again, it is potentially harder or viewed as harder. But the angels told us what to do with it. They said the key to handling this path is love. Love cures what needs to be healed. It is always the answer. And it's the genuine love. It's heart-centered love. It's love that makes you cry when you feel it. It's warm and fuzzy. It is unconditional, adoring love. Not only to all you love, but harder, to those you don't. To those even you can't stand. It's a love for yourself fully and all of humanity. And it is not love that needs to be expressed through words. If it's someone you're not talking to or has harmed you, or someone that you don't want to be in company with, it is the massive nonverbal. But yes, of course, if you want to verbalize, I love you, it's very important. And do that to all that you love in this life. Because it is important. But again, It's about the fullness of the feeling. It is about the welling up inside. That is the answer. That's what has to start now. It heals all the division. It is the key. So why is all of this happening right now? Why is it so important right now? Why was the U.S. election a milestone? Why was it more than an election? Why is there so much division happening right now? Why are a lot of you experiencing more signs from heaven? Because we are at the coming. Some call it the end times, the Great Awakening, the Age of Aquarius. In the 60s, the musical Hair spoke of the dawning of the Age of Aquarius. It is yet to come. It was dawning. Now it's here. It is now starting. A wonderful spiritual teacher from South Africa, I heard recently say this so well. God has called us home. Not home to heaven where our departed loved ones are, but is calling planet Earth to become home to heaven. The energy of heaven residing on Earth, like a second home to heaven. That is the earth that is in process. So the earth as we know it now, with its division, with its three-dimensional material, capitalist-based energy, is to be no more. And for those of you who fear, there are changes that are due, but that does not mean its full extinction of this planet. It means a planet changed. Oneness, full healing, light. There's going to be a restructuring. Things as we know it not being there anymore. Breaking down. Truth revealed in every way. Since the dawn of time, there's always been dark and light. And we are taught, a lot of us, that there are battles in heaven between dark and light. That they battle. But heaven does not contain dark, and light does not battle. Light, it just is. And where there is darkness, there is always light. But like an eclipse, dark and evil can overshadow. Satan can take advantage of weaknesses and deceive. The Antichrist can find power, and it is allowed. And what is happening now is more darkness. And maybe it's not the worst of times in this history of creation. But because of the awakening of the times we are in, it will feel worse, potentially. And darkness and evil is revealing itself in every way. It's outspoken. And it is deceiving because of vulnerabilities, of weaknesses, of our inner selves that need to be healed. And it's everywhere. It's very predominant right now, but it can be in any occupation. It is very important to be deceiving. And it really is a great reveal. It's amazing to watch it. But here's the thing. It's also a tool. It's a tool to reveal within all of us, like a mirror, what is there to be healed. So, if you like someone who is darker, if you feel aligned with them, that is revealing what needs to be healed. If you have racism in you, it will be revealed. Is revealed, really. Bigotry, hatefulness, fear, anger, rage, vulnerability, victimhood, even just plain insecurity. The mirror of the darkness brings it out. It's their job. Even though they want to rule, even though they want to dominate, they're still doing us a service. That's why it's allowed. Someone asked me recently, a beautiful human, why didn't God intervene during the Holocaust? Because of free will. Because we had to learn. Because we had to heal. And the difference between that time and this time is that we're closer to the change. But we still have to heal what was. Because what was permissible then is just as permissible now. It is time to get this done. And remember, your fellow humans are a tool as well. They're going to bring out, whether they are your family or your friends or your bosses or whoever they are, they're going to bring out what needs to heal. The most vulnerable state we're in is that there are millions of, quote, victims on this earth, and not one of us are. If you feel you want to blame, if you feel unlovable, if you feel shame, guilt, and again, just fear, you are vulnerable. That needs to heal. You will be tempted and tested. The great deceit has been going on, and it will continue. But again, the angels have told you what the formula is. What is the cure? What has to happen? And here's the thing. There's so many that say, here, fix it for me. What is the cure outside of me? What is the remedy outside of me? Can you take care of it for me? Let me change my vote so it's done. All are going to find out. The fix was always on the inside. That's the only place it is. And everyone will have no choice. Now here's the kicker. It's not just this one life you are focused on that has to heal. Not the one of you that's listening to me right now. Not just that one, but all of your life paths that need healing are coming up for healing. And the life paths of everyone that is alive. So what some of you have observed with your fellow humans losing their common sense, going all out in rage and overly violent, over the top. That is a culmination of needing to heal all their lives. They're being bombarded. It's like it's caused everything within them to go haywire. It's overwhelming. And you might have felt some of this at some degree yourself. Your multiple lives are now coming together at the same time with the rest of humanity to heal it all. And yes, chaotic. And it can be in your feelings crazy time. Suddenly someone changes, or they become over-the-top religious out of nowhere. Or you wonder if they've joined a cult. It's all their lives demanding healing. It's like a convergence of all lives of humanity coming together for healing at the same time, at the same place. And the airport is way crowded. So it's important to be in the moment, to take care of your mental, emotional, spiritual health, to notice where your biases are, how you're feeling, what you say. Because there's a good potential this is going to be a rocky ride. But all those who know will tell you, and me as well, you signed up for it. We all signed up for it. And it's very important to do your inner work and take care of yourself again in every single way. Forgiveness. Learning. Reading. So many are still looking again for the outside fix. Save or change. Nope. Always on the inside. And as I said, humanity as a whole is about to realize it. And then all of a sudden we will turn to each other and the division will go away. I don't feel this time there's any timeline to that. But I will say to you that if you feel anger within, we are not saying to you that you cannot have it. We're saying, understand that whatever you need to do to bring healing to it, to take action from it, is the right course. Don't live in it. Don't rage and stay in it. It's time to clean your home, your body, your spirit, your mind. It's the most important time in this world. Perhaps forever, to do it. So as you live your everyday life, notice what you're drawn to. That very well may be a sign of your twin. Do you suddenly like something that you didn't before? Do you suddenly want to learn something that you weren't interested in before? That is your creative self, your creative body, your creative being expanding and growing. Use it to live your fullest, happiest, most committed to joy and joyful living life. And don't worry about what is happening outside of you. You are in control if you are focused on love. Love of self and love of the all. And that will help the rest of what is happening with all of creation to take care of itself. And have patience for those, because right now we're still divisive. Thanksgiving dinner got a whole lot smaller. For a lot. Or some, perhaps. I don't want to embellish. You do not have to be with people that make you feel depleted. But it is best, as much as you can, to forgive, to understand, to wish them well, to draw a line between light and dark. That is important, and I hope that last part makes sense. It is when we scream at each other. It is when we say, you're right, I'm wrong, or I'm wrong and you're right, or you're wrong and I'm right. It's when we point out what we don't like in another that we do not heal. It is all right to feel apart from it, but it is not all right to do anything that causes greater division. There will come a time when you will have the opportunity, when you have awakened before someone else, to say, I told you so. There will be an opportunity coming regarding this election to say, I told you so. But it is best that you do not do it. And I am sorry if that triggered some by saying that, but there is much that is yet to be revealed. Don't. Be thankful for what you know and concentrate on your infinite possibilities. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that made sense. And again, please find me on my Facebook business page under Lisa M. Hobbs Spiritual Coach and Medium. If you're here on YouTube, which I often share to YouTube, I share to YouTube, not often, all the time. Please like, subscribe, and share. And any device that you're on, if you have the opportunity to like it or to follow, please do so, or platform. And also, again, check out my work, lisahopp.com. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I am rooting for you. I wish you many blessings. You deserve the best life possible, whatever life that would be called or is. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Again, I say it twice because I mean it. Thank you, many blessings. And until next time.